Hey everybody, this is Walt.
This is Max.
And you are listening to Terrasonic, a podcast about everything horror.
Yes, we are, as always, Useless Info Inc., and so we should kind of explain this one a little bit. We did a episode on Halloween a couple of months back.
That's right.
It was kind of a one-off from our typical The Feature Sucks movie podcast, and we got some notice. A lot of people liked it, so we figured we're going to continue with Terrasonic. We're going to talk about horror movies and music. You can consider that one kind of a soft launch, and this is more like a hard launch. Thank you. That was for you. That was for you, Walt.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So today we are
Hard
going
launch.
to go, as befitting the season,
With Black Christmas.
Black Christmas, 1974, directed by Bob Clark.
God rest his soul.
Yeah, okay. All right, so let's get into this. So, opens up and we see the house. We hear a Christmas song, right? Which
Right.
one?
Oh, wow, yeah.
One of those
Good
Christmas
trivia,
songs.
yeah.
One of those Christmas songs.
Christmassy
right?
songs.
Yeah. And we see it from...
Isn't it Silent Night, maybe?
I think it's Silent Night.
Yeah?
And we see it from the killer's perspective.
Right.
Just like Halloween later opens up, just like a lot of these movies open up, right? See,
That
kind of
POV.
exactly. A shadowy shape kind of blocks out half of the image. And we see him start climbing the trellis, and he enters through a window into the attic,
Into
right?
the attic, right.
Yeah. And it's kind of cool because the camera kind of lays out the landscape in the house, because you see the attic and you kind of see how it relates to the rest of the house.
Right.
There's like an opening in there so he can look down.
Right.
And you can see the telephone, which
Right.
becomes key, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then we see Barb, played by Margot Kidder.
God rest her soul.
R.I.P., right. Did you know what she died of?
That's a good question. I can't quite remember.
I heard it was alcohol and drug overdose.
Was it?
Yeah.
Wow.
And considered suicide.
Wow. I know that she had some mental
She
problems
had
as
some
well.
mental issues, which kind of puts some of the scenes in this movie in context when they're kind of making jokes about the character drinking too much.
Right. She's pretty much inebriated through the entire film.
Yeah, it doesn't play as funny anymore, does it?
No.
Yeah. Anyway, it's the late great Margot Kidder who plays Barb.
There's also Lois Lane in the Superman
Also
films.
Lois Lane, of course. And Barb's on the phone to her mother, and she's a piece of work, right?
Oh, yeah.
She says, "You're a real gold-plated whore, mother, you know that?"
No.
Just-
Because she doesn't want her to come home for Christmas. She's shacking up with some
She's
dude.
with some guy at
Yeah.
the ski lodge or something,
Yeah.
right? And then we see Jess,
Right.
played by Olivia Hussey, who was in Romeo and Juliet, Zeffirelli's version, right?
Right.
Now, she's got a sweater with hands on her breast. You
Yeah,
notice that?
right. These crossed finger hands,
Yeah, like what?
grabbing her cleavage.
Maybe it was a gift from her boyfriend. And we'll,
That's
talk
quite
about
the
it,
gift.
but, yeah. She gets a call from the Moaner, right?
Yeah.
But wait,
It's the Mona.
yeah, it sounds like Mona.
Yeah, right.
Wait, yeah, the Mona. What? Mona Lisa? What is this? And it sounds like more than one person.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. In fact, it was more than one person, right? Bob Clark confirmed that.
Bob Clark does the voice.
He does one, and who do the other voices?
That's a good question. I only got Bob Clark.
Okay,
from
because there's
what
a
I've
female
researched.
voice, right?
Yeah, but I think that's him too.
I thought it was actually 3 different actors.
Really?
Did you see something different?
No, yeah, I just saw Bob Clark.
Okay,
That's what I saw.
Interesting.
so.
Okay,
But correct me, please.
well, he does confirm that's supposed to be just one person making these different voices,
Right.
as if they're different personalities. This one guy, right? Yeah.
Agnes, it's Billy.
And well, this one is like the obscene phone call, right?
Yeah.
So he says some lewd shit, right?
So, yeah, or some real fucked up stuff.
Yeah. Barb calls him out.
And I got a potty mouth, but some of that stuff was like, holy shit.
Now, I heard that this wasn't happening live. Like, the actresses didn't hear it. That was recorded later. So they're just sort of pretending to react to, like, whatever.
He said stuff to them off camera, but it was tame.
Yeah.
And when he heard it back, he said, okay, we got to beat this up somehow.
Yeah.
In post-production,
And
they overdubbed.
They sure did.
Yeah.
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 And Barb calls him out, and he ends with, "I'm going to kill you."
Yeah, which is very unsettling.
Yeah, that's the first kind of sign there.
And her face changes in the whole thing. She's kind of going along with it and making fun of him.
Yeah.
But then her face changes when he
It's
says
like,
that.
Shit, yeah. And they're telling Barb, no, you shouldn't have done that. And then there's mention of a town girl who got raped. You remember what Barb says?
Yeah, you can't rape
You
a
can't
townie.
rape a That's kind of harsh.
Yeah. Setting up how
Damn.
despicable her character is, sort of,
Yeah, she's an interesting character. She is kind of despicable, but you kind of feel like there's just something wounded about her.
Oh, yeah, she
Right?
damaged goods a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, the relationship with her mother. You
That's
just feel
set
like,
up right at the
there's like
beginning.
a broken home thing going on.
Right.
You get a lot of depth with the characters
In a
with
short
the-
amount of time.
with the victims in this movie. Again, I think that John Carpenter would later do in Halloween.
Right.
You really get to know the victims, so they become full characters, so you empathize with them.
Right.
Which I think is key to making this work.
Well, we'll get into it a little bit later, but Barb kind of gets it almost the worst. On-screen death.
Yeah.
And I think because he sets up how rude and crude she is and being damaged goods or what have you, coming from a broken home, that it works a little bit better than if she was the quiet, demure one.
Yeah.
Like Claire.
What do you think?
It kind of works in horror movies, that trope. The one real idiot or fucked up character, the real mean person, when they get it horribly, you don't feel as bad for the character. You know?
I kind of felt
you
bad
lose
for
a little
her.
lose a little empathy.
Yeah?
So
Felt
I
that
did
way?
feel bad for her, but not as bad as I felt for some of the other deaths that happened in the movie. But we'll get into that.
Yeah.
Anyway, synopsis.
Okay. So she's calling Claire a virgin.
Yeah, right.
Right, which is
Professional virgin.
yes,
I know a
which is-
professional
yeah,
virgin
yeah.
when I see one.
Which is interesting because she's the first one who gets killed.
Right.
Usually, the later trope established with Halloween is that the virgin is the final girl.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This thing reverses
It's
the
the
whole
opposite,
thing.
yeah.
I mean, it's not a trope here because it wasn't established, right?
Right.
This is-
Yeah, because she was dating that guy, Chris.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
we don't actually know that she was a virgin, but
Right.
she's kind of set up that way in a way. Yeah.
That guy Chris walking around that big Mac Daddy fur coat.
Does he show up in the hockey mask later?
Does he? Well, you
Is
see
he-
him on the ice.
Yeah.
He's a goalie,
Yeah,
for his
yeah,
hockey
yeah.
team,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So yeah, he does have the hockey
Is that
mask
the first
on.
time a hockey mask appears in a
I
slasher
believe
movie?
so. I would
Okay,
think
there
so.
you go. That's another first. Okay, so Claire goes to the other room, and that's when we see Billy looking at her. We're just going to call him Billy, right?
Yeah,
Because
even though it's not established that
Yeah,
his name is Billy.
Billy could just be one of his multiple personalities.
Right.
But we'll just say he's Billy.
Well, he also mimics a lot of the stuff that he hears in the house.
Right, yeah.
Jess's boyfriend.
Yeah, we'll get to that part.
Yeah, okay,
That
all right.
becomes key, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's looking at her through the plastic in the closet, and then we kind of see her approaching.
Right.
So you get this tension. And
He's doing the cat meowing.
Yeah, oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Claude the
Yeah.
cat. Yeah. And then he...
Like a wounded animal.
Yeah, then he kills her. Yeah.
Grabs her with the
Yeah.
dry cleaning garment bag.
Yeah. And Mrs. Mack shows up, and she's quite a character.
Yeah,
She's got
she's
a
fun.
secret stash of sherry
Everywhere in
in
the
a
house.
book, and another in a toilet tank.
In a toilet tank. That's old school. That is hardcore.
Yeah.
That's hardcore drinking. Damn.
Yeah, that's something. And then
I actually knew a guy that used to do that to hide it from his wife, believe it or not.
in the toilet.
In the toilet, yeah.
That is fucked up.
He'd have a bottle of whiskey in the toilet tank.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So Billy drags Claire up into the attic,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Covers her in the plastic and just
Sits her in
leaves
a
her kind
rocking
of
chair.
Rocking, yeah.
Near the window also. Right by
Yeah,
the window
yeah.
of the attic.
Yeah, and he's singing Little Baby Bunting.
Yeah.
It's some creepy shit. Really, really creepy. That's it for that night, right? Claire's father shows up looking for her. Doesn't find her, obviously. And then we see Santa for the first time.
Right.
This is Phil's boyfriend.
Right. Ho, 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 fuck.
At this point, I gotta mention, Bob Clark also directed A Christmas Story.
Yes.
Right.
Which is the polar opposite of this movie.
Is it, though?
He's got a thing
Well,
for Christmas, though.
Okay, in a certain sense, right, because this is a R-rated hardcore horror movie.
Right.
You can let your kids watch that.
Right, yeah, Christmas,
Yeah.
not this.
No,
Christmas
the other
Story,
one,
yeah.
Christmas Story.
It's
Yeah,
G-rated,
yeah,
I
yeah,
believe.
Yeah. But I feel like in both cases, there's kind of this subversive, irreverent look at Christmas.
At the holiday, yeah.
Yeah, because here you see Santa kind of, like mouthing off.
Yeah.
Remember the Santa scene in Christmas Story?
Oh, yeah. You shoot your eye out, kid. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like this monster, and all the kids are afraid of him.
Right. I hate the smell of tapioca.
Yeah, like I feel like there's a similar sensibility, kind of subverting
Right.
these images of Christmas.
Right.
So I don't think it's too far off in a way, and I think the humor is almost kind of similar.
It's slightly dark humor
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Christmas Story
Kinda,
as well.
And this one is kind of folksy and a little bit old school.
Right.
Like Mrs. Mack drinking and shit like that.
Right,
And it's-
right.
Yeah, and the father all being scandalized
Right.
by what goes on in the sorority.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Come on, man,
Yeah, and there's a shot of an older woman flipping off the camera. In this
Right, that's an old school poster. I believe it was
Is it?
like
It's
a
a
Mad
classic one?
Magazine poster or National Lampoon.
Oh,
It's a
really?
National
Okay,
Lampoon
okay.
poster from the day. I think Bob Clark's humor was influenced a little bit by like National Lampoon and what
Okay.
have you.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Jess tells her boyfriend Peter that she's pregnant.
Right.
And she wants an abortion.
And Peter doesn't want her to have
He
it.
doesn't want her to have it. Yeah. The father's looking for Claire. Barb lets a kid have a drink from a glass of booze, right?
A little schnocker's drunk. She's done through the whole movie. She's
Oh, yeah.
She
Yeah,
is
yeah.
freaking high.
Yeah. Jess gets a call. This is where we first hear about Billy and Agnes, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Then we keep hearing about the door, because Mrs. Mack mentions that the door is broken.
Yeah, it keeps sticking or what have you.
Yeah.
Or, yeah.
So it seems like anybody can come and go from this house at any time, right?
Right.
Yeah.
She has a problem getting in.
She does.
Was the whole thing.
Yeah. And we find out that there's a 13-year-old missing.
Right, yeah.
Right,
yeah.
That's
she was
another
found.
thing.
She went missing coming home from school.
Yeah.
And they eventually find her body dismembered in the park. And they because they were looking for Claire.
And we never find out if that was Billy or not.
Right, which is also creepy.
Because we don't see him dismember anybody else.
Right.
So we don't. It doesn't seem like the same MO, but
yeah,
another creepy thing that's happening.
Yeah, he keeps the bodies around.
Yeah, he does. Yeah,
he kind of positions them and what have you, like he did with Claire upstairs in the rocking chair and the whole thing.
Yeah, and these weird, creepy poses. Yeah. So it's dinner time at the sorority house, and Barb is scribbling on a Playboy centerfold and talking about turtle sex.
About turtles fucking,
and she's snockered, of course.
Right.
Yeah.
She says something like they could go for like 8 hours or 12 hours, something like that, just humping along.
Yeah, and she knows that how.
She sat there for 12 hours watching? Yeah.
Meanwhile, Peter messed up his recital, and he's trashing a piano.
Yeah, don't take it out on the piano, man.
It's not even his piano, right?
Right.
It's like at the conservatory.
Exactly,
Yeah.
I always hate seeing that on film or in real life. I think, don't smash that instrument. It's not the instrument's fault. It's your fault.
So he's got some problems.
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty obvious, right?
Yeah, he's a little unstable.
Yeah. And it's slowly sort of setting up the idea that Peter might be the killer. Right. You've got that kind of thread going. And then Mrs. Mack gets it.
Yeah.
She goes into the attic because she hears Claude up there, right? And how does she get it?
With a hook to the head.
Yeah. Ugh.
You know, I guess they'd have that hook up there on pulleys to lower stuff down from the attic.
Yeah.
But yeah, he winds that thing up and gets her right in the head. You know, and then hoists her up and all that. It's pretty brutal.
Yeah.
Although you just get the bare minimum information with some of the kills.
Exactly.
It's not too gratuitous.
Exactly.
But we'll also get into that.
Yeah. And then Billy has a tantrum.
Right. He starts going crazy.
But we don't know why. Is it because he's killed Mrs. Mack, who's an old woman.
Right.
Is it because he's looking for someone who's like Agnes to kill, and he's frustrated because
Could
he can't
be.
find it? We never know any of this, right? It's all, which I think is kind of cool, actually, because these movies, they always tell you the whole backstory of the killer.
Right.
Like why he's fucked up, like what all this means, and we never find out who Agnes or Billy or any of that.
Right.
Or,
yeah,
whatever that is. Now, the remake went there.
Yeah, they gave a lot of backstory in the opening of the remake, which I did not like. Yeah, I did not like.
How was it?
It's bad.
It doesn't sound good.
It's bad. It doesn't do any service to the original.
Yeah, that's sort of pointless.
And Bob Clark actually produced the remake. Yeah, the reboot, remake, whatever the hell it was.
Probably because he got a good paycheck for it.
Money.
You know? Yeah.
Money. Can't recommend it.
Okay.
At all.
Yeah. So Jess gets another call from the killer, and then Peter shows up.
Mysteriously, he's upstairs in the house.
You say he's been sleeping upstairs?
Yeah, he was taking a nap. He sneaks up behind her, too.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
So that kind of sets it up right there.
Yeah.
Because we know the Billy's in the attic, and he comes from downstairs. We don't know where.
From upstairs, right.
So I think by now, definitely the question is in our minds that maybe he could be the guy. Right?
Yeah.
But not in Jess's mind just yet. Right? And then Peter, he proposes in the best way I can imagine.
Right.
He basically says, I'm sick of standing in line behind 6 guys take a bath.
Right.
So
let's get married.
Yeah. And he even says, I'm quitting the conservatory and we're getting married.
Yeah.
Not even like, will you marry me?
Right.
We're getting married.
He tells her this.
Yeah.
And
she has the best response.
Yeah.
She says, well, Peter, you had ambitions. I had ambitions.
I still have those ambitions.
Yeah, I still have them. So fuck
I don't
you,
want to give
basically.
that up. Yeah,
Yeah. Which is really kind and she wants the abortion.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, pretty progressive for 1974.
Oh, sure.
In many ways. I mean, one, the fact that the woman's being strong.
Right.
She's not going to just lean on this guy for her life. She's doing her own thing. He's the weak one.
Yeah.
Because he's given up.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, whatever, I'm not doing piano anymore.
Well, because he screwed up at the conservatory.
Yeah.
With his piece that he had to,
But now he's done.
Right.
He's not trying to come back and overcome that.
Right.
He's like, my life's over. Which is cowardly, I think.
Exactly, yeah. Now he's relying on her to have some sort of stability.
Yeah, exactly.
Again.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's usually the guy who wants the woman to have the abortion.
Right. Usually
but she's like, no, this is going to mess up my life, and I'm not willing to do it.
Right.
I'm going to have the abortion.
Right.
And also, I think, keep in mind, 1973, that's when Roe versus Wade happened.
Right,
that's when, at this point, I think it's still pretty bold to have the protagonist, the hero of the movie, be someone who really wants an abortion.
Right.
You know, I mean, I know it's a Canadian movie, but it was made for an American audience, basically. Yeah.
And we're supposed to assume that it takes place in America. Also, is the other thing.
Yes, because they talk about going to the city.
Yeah.
But it's filmed in Toronto, I believe.
Toronto,
right?
yeah.
Which they film everything looks like New York City, Toronto. Anyway,
to this day,
so,
still.
Yeah. So I thought it was a good kind of gender reversal going on.
Oh yeah. Kind of establishing the final girl strength thing, maybe for the first time in a slasher film.
Exactly. Yes, very much so. Meanwhile, the police house, that's a whole comedy waiting to happen. And in progress. There's a fellatio joke.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That Nash didn't know what fellatio was.
Yeah. Bunch of
and they have a big laugh.
There.
And the laughing cop.
Yeah,
I think he's just credited as laughing
Yeah.
cop. Or laughing detective, I believe it is.
Yeah, there's a lot of humor going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I know what it is. It's something dirty, isn't it?
Yeah, Barney Fife.
Fellatio. He is pretty inept as a cop in this.
Yeah. And Peter threatens Jess about the abortion.
Yeah, right.
Like he's Yeah. So it's he's pretty serious. So then that's when the lieutenant taps the phone, right?
Played by John Saxon.
John Saxon.
Yeah.
Played by him.
Well, he's been in a number of movies. His film credits are too numerous to list. But he was also in another favorite film of mine, Enter the Dragon, which is not a horror film, of course, with Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
But he was great in that, too.
Yeah.
But so many movies and television
He's
shows.
one of those guys that just showed up a lot, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Great actor. He's always that kind of hard-as-nails tough guy.
Yeah.
You know? So
we find out that Mrs. Mack has her own phone line.
Right.
A little foreshadowing there, right?
Yeah.
So then Phyllis is upset at Claire's disappearance, and she goes upstairs to get some rest.
Right.
And then what?
the search parties are out.
Right, yeah.
Because they went with the search party at one point.
Yeah. And then that's when Barb gets it.
Yeah.
Because she's sleeping it off, right?
Yeah. Because Phil tells her to go to bed after the whole humping turtles thing.
Exactly.
In front of Claire's father.
Yeah. And Billy calls her Agnes, right?
Yeah.
He addressed her as Agnes. Yeah. That's when you see the light on his eye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Distorted looking eye.
Yeah, that was really, really freaky. Yeah.
Yep.
And he kills her with a unicorn sculpture.
Yeah, with a glass unicorn.
Damn, yeah.
Yeah. And he kills the hell out of her.
Yeah. Is this the bloodiest scene in the movie?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, the other scenes are a little more subdued, a little more implied.
Yeah.
This is kind of the full-on death scene.
Yeah.
And like I was saying, I think because she was kind of being a prick right beforehand, she's kind of being a jerk.
Yeah.
So it diffuses the blow a little for me.
It didn't for me.
Yeah.
Because we get so much of her backstory, I just feel like she's someone who is just kind of wounded.
A little more tragic, you think?
A little more tragic, I thought.
Okay.
Yeah, that was my feeling. I like the fact that there are different types of characters.
Right.
You know, like there's one who's going to be like that kind of, and then you've got Jess, more the good girl. Yeah. It makes it more interesting.
Phil was kind of like the second house mother almost too.
She was exactly. Yeah.
That's why I felt bad for her when she got it.
Yeah.
And you don't see it. Her death is off screen. But she turns and looks and sees Billy behind the door, and she has that look of shock.
Yeah.
That one kind of hit me like, oh, you thought she was going to make it.
Yeah.
You know,
So this time the killer calls, and he says it's just like having a wart removed.
Right.
Which is what Peter said to her.
About the abortion.
So a couple of possibilities here, right?
Which is also pretty harsh on his part. Like having a wart removed, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's not that simple, dude.
Yeah. He was kind of saying that to her because he felt like she was being kind of lackadaisical about the whole thing, right?
Right.
Like, you think it's just like having a wart removed.
Oh, that's what he said.
Right?
Correct,
is
right.
That,
that's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
He's kind of mocking her attitude. A couple of things could be possible at this point. One, it could be Peter, but probably what's going on, what we find out later is that they're not the same person.
Right.
So Billy has observed this conversation taking place, right?
Exactly. Is it late for a spoiler alert right now?
Yeah, I think we got it. Yeah. Because he's watching from the attic.
Right.
And we know that he can see the telephone there.
Yep.
He can probably hear any conversation that goes on.
Right.
But this plants the thing in her mind that maybe it's Peter. But she doesn't tell the police that.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Because she's not sure.
Right.
Yeah.
And then after is when they tap the phone, after that call, correct?
I think they already tapped it, but there wasn't enough time.
That's right. The guy was running back and forth.
There's always a thing where she has to keep him on the line longer.
Right.
Which happens in every movie, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a real life thing, but
nowadays they can tap your phone even when you're not on it.
Yeah.
You know?
In the movies, you always have to keep someone on the line for longer, just to increase the tension, right?
Right.
So Phyllis looks out at the cop car in front, but we never actually see the cop.
No.
Right?
Right.
Which, again, that's a key thing. Rings again. This time it is Peter, and he's breaking down.
He's crying and moaning over the phone.
He's kind of sounding like Billy.
Exactly,
again.
John Saxon's character calls it back and says, what was that about?
Right. And Jess tells him that it couldn't be Peter because Peter was in the house during one of the calls.
Right.
But she's not getting just now that the calls are coming from that. That's
right. She doesn't know that yet.
Setting that up, right? She decides that it wasn't Peter. And then a couple of dumbasses show up on a search party.
Oh,
right?
Yeah. Those two hillbilly guys.
and
they wouldn't leave at one point.
Yeah, like, what the hell? This is when Phil goes, checks on Barb. And then finally, Jess finds out that the calls are coming from inside the house.
Right. Wait, did she go to check on Barb and Phil before the call?
I don't think so. I think because Phil goes up,
right.
check on Barb, and the door slams on her.
Right.
And at this point, Jess just finds out from the lieutenant that the calls are coming from inside the house.
Right, when idiot Nash says...
Yes.
Because Fuller, Saxon's character, calls Nash and says, call Jess and tell her to just get out of the house. The calls are coming from inside the house. Right. When they finally trace the call.
Yeah.
And he spills the beans
Yeah.
and tells her the calls are coming from inside the house when he was told not to tell her that.
Right. Yeah.
And there's all this tension right there in that scene.
Well, we got to talk about that trope a little bit.
Yeah.
Because that's based on a really old urban legend.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Right.
The whole thing with the
babysitter and the man upstairs.
And the man upstairs.
Right.
Like, they haven't been able to trace this to any actual incident.
Right.
It's just a thing that was going around for a long time, right?
Right.
And
then, the babysitter and the man upstairs, yeah.
And was this the first movie that used that?
I think so. I believe so,
and then the later one was When a Stranger
Calls.
Right?
Definitely influenced by this.
Yeah.
And that urban legend.
Yeah. It shows up a few times.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was based on a series of murders that took place in Westmount, Montreal.
So it was an actual thing?
That's what they're saying. That's what I got, the urban myth is based on this actual thing.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Did the actual thing resemble the urban myth?
Pretty much.
Really?
Pretty much.
So there was an actual guy in the house?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know if the phone call thing was
part
of it, or the actual murders.
It seems a little embellished.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah. There may have been some original thing that was just sort of like added on to, through the whole legend thing. So, Sergeant Nash calls her, and now Jess, because she's got some guts, she's going to go check on Phil and Barb. She's not going to just abandon them.
First, she's downstairs screaming their names, and they don't answer. They don't come down.
Yeah.
And we're getting some of the sounds in the background here. Billy freaking out.
And she takes a poker with her and goes upstairs, and she finds them dead.
Yeah.
Right?
And kind of displayed once again.
Exactly. Yeah.
He lays them together.
Yeah.
Phil is strewn across Barb, almost in like an X or something like that, laid out in some weird position.
Yeah.
You only get a flash of it.
Yeah.
So I'd have to pause, but at that point in the movie, I'm not pausing at all.
No,
you're caught up in
creepy psychology he's got in his head.
Right.
That's the thing, right? Then we see the eye through the door.
Yeah, and that's also super creepy.
And Jess fights back.
Yeah. She pushes the door.
And then she can't get out for some reason, right? She couldn't get
Once again with the door,
She couldn't get through the front door because why? I don't remember why that was.
We said earlier that Mrs. Mack had a problem getting in.
Getting in. So maybe it was stuck. She couldn't get out.
Kept jamming or something.
Okay. So then she goes down to the basement.
Right.
And that's when Peter shows up.
Right.
So he's peeking through the window. Then he goes into the basement. By this point, she seems convinced that it is Peter, right?
Right.
In her mind, there's no doubt.
Right. He's creeping around the house on the outside of the house.
Around, yeah.
Then he kicks the window out, too, to climb into the basement after her.
I mean, he's not the killer, but he's a prime asshole.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't even know what she was doing with him in the first place.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Well, it's college.
It is college, yeah.
Maybe he was normal at one point.
Maybe a promising musical genius at one point, yeah. And Lieutenant Rise finds Peter dead and Jess alive. Now, we don't know if he attacked her.
Right.
Or if she just attacked him because she was so convinced, right?
Right.
And
so pretty much she bludgeons him with the poker.
Yeah. And
takes his ass out.
Yeah. And
no big loss.
Exactly. The guy was a douche anyway. Then Jess is in bed, and everybody just...
in shock.
Everybody just leaves the house.
Right,
they
which is crazy, yeah.
Because they don't know about the bodies.
Right.
Well, they know about Phil and Barb.
Right.
But they don't know about Claire and Mrs. Mack up in the attic.
In the attic, right.
They have no... You'd think they'd search the house maybe at this point. But
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Small town cops, I don't know.
Wasn't it like they're waiting for forensics to come over or something?
Yeah, because the doctor was there already. Doctor checked her out. Oh, then Claire's father passes out, goes into shock.
Yeah.
So they take him downstairs to the ambulance, and everybody leaves.
Because they've concluded that Peter was the guy.
Right.
They figure the killer's done with, right?
Right.
But of course, when she's there alone, the camera kind of pans up in the attic, You hear Billy's voice. It kind of pans to the death bedrooms, right?
Right.
We see those places.
Then you see the attic door open up.
Which is another thing that John Carpenter uses later.
Right.
Because he shows a place where people are killed.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, and the implication at the end is that Jess is completely vulnerable. That's it.
Yeah. And then they pan out from the house.
Yeah.
And you still see Claire in the window in the attic.
Yeah, that's right.
And then the phone starts ringing.
Yeah.
Because the phone would always ring right before or right after a murder.
Right. Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
So, and it ends with the ringing phone.
So
and nobody's there to answer the phone this time.
So if she doesn't answer it, will she be okay?
No, see, that's the thing. No.
Okay.
That's why I'm trying to remember if the phone... Well, the first phone call came before any murder, or did it come after the girl in the park? You know what I mean?
True.
So...
True, right. Yeah.
It's also a little ambiguous.
But it was also just before Claire got murdered, right?
Right.
The first phone call?
That's true. Or wait a minute. No. Wait.
Really?
The second phone call was after Claire got murdered, wasn't it? God, you could tell we did our freaking research.
Yeah. Well, the first one was before she got murdered.
Before.
Because that's when Claire leaves. She's upset. And then she gets killed, right?
Right.
And then the second one comes... I think...
Call comes after Claire's murder.
Yeah. It happens because he doesn't know ahead of time he's going to kill, does he?
No.
He takes targets of opportunity.
Right. Because he does call after he kills Barb.
Right, he does. Yeah. And after Mrs. Mack?
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And after...
From Mrs. Mack's room, after he killed Mrs. Mack.
From her
Because she's got that record.
Wait, so where is her room?
That's a good question.
Yeah. So he's able to get from the attic to the room without being seen?
Yeah.
Because the weird thing is, if you go from the attic, you can kind of see from the atrium space.
They did show at one point movement where he's crossing.
Right,
So he's kind of moving around up there quietly.
Yeah.
Moving things around and moving from room to room.
So he was in Mrs. Mack's room.
I believe so, because when he makes that phone call is from that
So the phone
separate
calls
line,
are from...
Mrs. Mack's room.
Of course, because it's her line. Why would it be in the attic? So somehow he's able to get from the attic to her room. Easily, right? Okay, so there must be some conduit or something.
Maybe.
And he's able to get out and kill the cop in the car at some point, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe the architecture isn't quite tight.
Right.
But whatever.
See, I think this is where they
kind of go with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this is where they messed it up in the remake, where he was moving through the walls.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
He was climbing through the walls, in between the walls. So
Yeah,
it takes away from the mystery of...
Yeah, you don't need to see that.
No.
Yeah. What do we think about this movie, Walt?
I love this movie.
Pretty cool, right?
It's one of my all-time favorite horror films.
Okay, tell me why.
Just because of the way it's filmed, like you said, there's a lot of character development. It's the advent, in my mind, of the slasher film. Or the modern slasher film,
Can you think of anyone before this one?
Well, there were a few before this. You had Peeping Tom.
Yeah.
Another one that was fairly popular. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I just really like it. I just really, really like the film. And I like a lot of Bob Clark's work, if not all of Bob Clark's work. I'm also a fan of his other horror films, Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things, and Death Dream, which also goes by another title. I think it's Dead of Night is the other title. And a lot of his movies have alternate titles. Have you noticed that?
This one had... What do they call this one?
Silent
US?
Night, Evil Night.
Right, because they were worried it would seem like a blaxploitation.
Yeah, they thought it would be confused for a blaxploitation film.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, and I love the tagline on the original poster.
Yeah.
If this movie doesn't make your skin crawl, it's on too tight.
What does that mean?
I know, exactly.
It's weird. Yeah.
No, yeah.
What
And the other one for the American poster is Christmas is coming early this year, and it's murder.
Those don't seem to be well thought out.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Okay. I think Halloween had a much better one.
Oh, yeah.
He Came Home.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't say enough. I just really, really enjoy the film. I really like it.
Yeah. Now, this one, in comparison to Halloween, this one did well, but it wasn't as influential as Halloween, right?
Right.
Halloween really, really kicked off the whole genre of the slasher film.
Oh, yeah.
Because it made a lot of money for a really low budget, and things just exploded. It is kind of prototypical, but we have to talk about how this one influenced Halloween.
Oh yeah.
So what have you heard?
Which we also talked about during the Halloween podcast. Yeah. Apparently, what I've read is John Carpenter was a fan of this film.
Yes.
And actually met with Bob Clark, and they were supposed to work on something together.
Yes.
And he supposedly said, "Have you ever thought of doing a sequel to Black Christmas?" And he said, "Yeah, that he's thought about it." And what he would do would be that Billy would be in an insane asylum, and that he would break out and go back to the house and start all over again, and that he would call that movie Halloween.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what I've read.
I've heard that, and then there's also the story of when he was doing Halloween, John Carpenter and Deborah Hill wrote a story, or they came up with a script idea called Babysitter Murders.
Babysitter Murders, like we talked about,
and it was a producer who said, let's call it Halloween, have it take place in Halloween, right?
Right.
So we've got these two stories on how the name Halloween came about, right?
Right.
And I read the same thing that you read about Bob Clark, and apparently Bob Clark said that John Carpenter already had that title, Halloween.
Yeah.
So just by coincidence, the title came from two different directions? Is that what we're meant to believe?
I don't know.
I can't find anything that resolves that conundrum.
Nothing solid.
But maybe that's what it was.
Yeah.
And Bob Clark, very humble, he basically said, yeah, I'm not taking credit for Halloween.
Right.
I just gave him this little bit.
Right.
And it was his screenplay, his idea, because the whole mental asylum thing, that is a part of Halloween, but it's not the whole movie. It's just like a little setup part. And Bob Clark's, he's not being a dick, but he's not like, he stole my idea.
Yeah.
So it was just a little piece, but it's all his movie. He respected it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But it's pretty obvious that John Carpenter was a fan of this movie and took a lot from it, was influenced by it.
Very
in
influenced
many
by
ways.
it, yeah.
Which, it's great. I mean, you want to be influenced by people who do great things.
Right.
And you take it someplace else. But does this movie have to take place during Christmas?
No, of course not.
No, it doesn't, right?
No.
Nothing in the plot that means it needs to take place during Christmas.
Well, actually, Bob Clark did say that he liked the idea of
Yeah.
these horrific murders happening during Christmas time.
That's what I think it's all about.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you do get the thing where most of the house is empty because they're away on holiday.
Right.
But that could happen, like Thanksgiving.
Or, during summer break. Or...
Black Thanksgiving would be a different movie. Yeah, I think it's the juxtaposition of the kind of sacred and the deeply evil.
Right.
And that ended up becoming a thing because there were other and some notorious Christmas-themed slasher movies, right?
Right.
None of them as good as this one, obviously.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, this film holds the honor of being the first seasonal slasher film.
Okay.
Of course, the others were Halloween, Friday the 13th, Prom Night. I don't know if that's a holiday, but...
yeah, not really.
Mother's Day, Graduation Day, My Bloody Valentine for Valentine's Day. There was also Silent Night, Deadly Night, which is a crazy...
Have you seen that?
Oh, yeah. It's out of control.
Is it any good?
Depends on what you call good.
Well, what do you call good?
It's a fun B movie. It's a, grindhousey kind of B movie.
I just remember there was a big scandal about it.
Oh, yeah.
Because they did the stupid thing where they showed the trailer for it during times when children could see it.
Yeah.
So parents were up in arms.
Of course, yeah.
And if you see the trailer, I kind of don't blame them. If my kids saw that, I'd be kind of pissed off.
Yeah, this guy goes crazy playing Santa Claus and murders people.
Yeah.
As Santa Claus.
Yeah, but you wouldn't recommend that one necessarily.
I recommend it if you're a fan of grindhouse B movies, and
Okay.
A lot of my collection is
if you're in that
bad B
particular
movies.
niche, you would recommend it.
See, but if I didn't watch these movies, I wouldn't come across the gems like Black Christmas.
Exactly.
To be honest with you.
You have an encyclopedic knowledge of horror cinema.
Sad, useless information.
That's what we're all about.
So the last one also is April Fool's Day.
Okay.
They made a horror film about, which I've also seen.
Yeah. Okay.
That's just silly.
I
like it though, but it's I'm sure there are other horror aficionados out there that have seen these films.
I think that we can agree that Halloween and this one are the top.
Halloween and Black
list,
Christmas,
right?
Yeah. When it comes to the seasonal slasher film or horror film.
So we are Terrasonic, meaning that we talk about music as well. What about the soundtrack of this movie?
Oh, it's mostly Christmas songs, but
it's like soundscapes besides
also,
Christmas songs, right?
Yeah. Carl Zitterer.
Yeah.
He created bizarre music score by tying forks, combs, and knives to the strings of his piano.
Yeah.
So it would distort the playing.
Yeah.
And they would also, when he was recording, he would thumb the reels on the tape recorder to slow them down to get warped sounds.
Yeah.
So besides just Christmas songs and Christmas music, you have all this background ethereal kind of horrific soundtrack going on.
It's almost like I don't feel like I'm conscious of it while I'm watching the movie, but it kind of works in the background to create this feeling of just dread.
Subliminal dread.
Yeah, there's something subliminal about it, right? Yeah. It's effective. Yeah,
especially when you have the scenes with Billy's POV with the kind of striking piano keys, boom,
yeah,
and they ring out.
Yeah,
those are intense. It's pretty intense.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
So a lot of ethereal, horrific noise happening.
Exactly.
Rather than a traditional soundtrack.
Yes. Yeah. So what else you got?
So apparently Bob Clark did try to do a sequel at one point or another.
He did?
Yeah.
Huh.
They were failed attempts.
Really? Okay.
And apparently he was working on a sequel script before he tragically passed away in 2007.
Okay.
He was going to have Olivia Hussey and John Saxon reprised their roles in the sequel. That would have been something to see. And
so in his
Jess would have become the new house mother.
Okay, so in that narrative, she was not killed.
She wasn't killed. Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
In that, she survived somehow.
Yeah.
Which horror movies do all the time too.
Yeah, they do that. Yeah,
I thought she got it. He got it. I thought they're dead, and then boom, here they come. You know?
Yeah. Now that's interesting because I heard that in the 70s, when John Carpenter approached him and said, "Have you thought about a sequel?" I heard Bob Clark say, "Well, I'm not interested in horror movies anymore because
he was out.
Yeah, I just used that as a vehicle to kind of get my name out there."
Right.
But apparently, later in life, you don't got much going on. Hey, why not?
Right. Yeah, because he wasn't doing too much, sadly, before he passed away.
What else has he done? I'm not remembering now.
I basically know the movies that we talked about. Death Dream, Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things, Black Christmas, Christmas Story.
Yeah.
There was a Christmas Story sequel, but I don't think he directed that.
I don't think
Where Ralphie was grown up, that was bad.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't even hear about this.
That was bad. Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Maybe he produced it or something.
Sure, maybe. Again, get a credit, get some money.
Get some money. Like Carpenter did later on in his
career.
Yeah,
exactly.
Too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if he directed that. I saw it once. I think it's also hard to find. It might be out of print.
Okay.
With good reason.
Because it
sucked.
Okay.
It sucked bad. Sucked balls.
You know how there's some cable channels that do like the Christmas Story marathon?
Oh, yeah.
They just show them.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be interesting to have like
Black Christmas?
yeah, like interspersed.
Oh, yeah.
When you're not expecting it.
Right.
Yeah, that could be interesting.
That would fuck some people up. Especially kids,
Yeah.
But apparently also, this has a body count of 8. Where later on...
Wait. Okay, let's count now. So, Claire...
Okay. Body count!
We got Claire.
Right.
We've got Mrs. Mack. We've got Barb.
Right.
Phil.
Right.
The cop in the car.
Officer Jennings.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. He's got a name. Officer Jennings. Who else in the house am I missing?
Peter.
Okay, you're right. Peter. Okay, so we're counting all kills, not just
all kills.
The killer's
and
kills.
The unseen girl, Janice. That's her
right,
name,
okay,
Janice.
that's 7, and...
No, that was 8, wasn't it?
I only got... Wait.
What, we can't count now?
No, we can't count.
All right,
okay,
Claire, Mrs. Mack,
Janice,
the unseen girl, Barb,
Phyllis.
Wait, is that 5?
Oh, wait. No, okay.
Wait.
Claire,
Mrs. Mack, Janice, Barb, Phyllis, Jennings, Officer Jennings,
Peter, yeah. That's 7.
And then Jess. We didn't say Jess. Jess is the last one. Supposedly.
Oh, well.
Supposedly.
Yeah, we don't see her dead, though.
Right.
Okay, we can assume the 8. Sure.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll go with that.
So
sure,
maybe it still kind of is sticking to the 7 ceiling. You know what I mean? There's supposed to be maybe
that's a ceiling?
7. Yeah.
Okay.
To be rated R.
That's a
to
thing?
be rated R, yeah.
That is a thing.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay, I didn't know that.
Then you risk being rated X.
Beyond 7?
Yeah, I believe so.
So how many were in Halloween?
Or at this time.
Halloween, so the sister in the beginning.
Right.
The random guy when he stole the clothes, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. The body shop guy.
Yeah, then, so there was, I can't remember her name, but the one with the frizzy hair.
Jeez.
Paul.
Right. Oh, Paul.
No keys.
Paul.
Yeah,
right.
That one. Boyfriend of the other woman.
Right. PJ Souls, her boyfriend.
And that woman.
Right.
Yeah.
That's 5.
That's 5. Are there any more?
He didn't kill the nurse. He threw her out of the car.
Right, yeah.
I think it's 5.
Yeah.
If we're wrong, please correct us.
You can assume Michael Myers at the end. Possibly. Because he gets shot like 6 times.
Shot him 6 times.
Okay, 5 confirmed. Okay.
Right.
Huh, I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I don't know if they still hold that true to this day because Saw gets away with
I can't imagine
20 murders
still doing
on
that. I mean, yeah, these
but
days
around the time,
it's crazy.
You had to have a certain number. If you went over that,
okay,
you would be hit with possibly a rated X.
Interesting. I never knew that. Okay.
So, and it's never confirmed if Billy is his name.
No.
It's never confirmed.
He's not in credit. He's credited as what in the credits?
I don't think he's even credited.
I thought he was
credited. I think it's uncredited.
Something. What was it again? There's something.
You got me on that.
Huh.
Who watches the credits anyway?
Because, Michael Myers was just the shape.
Right.
But I can't remember now.
Yeah, okay.
It was something like that.
Albert J. Dunk plays Billy.
Okay,
uncredited.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's physical Billy walking around POV.
Okay, all right.
Bob Clark as obscene phone caller Billy.
Okay.
So maybe, I don't know if Bob Clark is credited.
Probably not.
Right.
Yeah. Anything else?
No, just that I think it's a great movie, and if you haven't seen it,
definitely check this one out.
Definitely check it out.
It's worth it. I am not a slasher fan, but this is really worth seeing. This is
exceptional.
Creepy. It's a really good horror movie.
It's not just a slasher film; it's more psychological.
It is. It very much is.
A lot more psychological.
It keeps you thinking. It keeps you creeped out.
The mysterious Billy.
Every time I watch it, that voice still creeps me the hell out.
Billy.
Yeah. It's really, really
Agnes.
eerie.
Agnes, it's Billy.
Yeah. And you look at how much they did with just that.
Right.
You know? Like other movies have got to have all these gory kills and whatnot.
Yeah.
This one, just a creepy voice carries the whole movie.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like a constant thread throughout.
And you do not see what he looks like.
Exactly.
You get shadows, you get the eye. That's it.
They want you to keep guessing up until the end because it might be Peter, right? That's part of it.
Right.
But yeah, then he's this just like creepy shape. And they could have revealed him at the end.
Right.
Once we know he's not Peter, but they didn't.
Right.
They just have the voice and the phone call. Yeah, nicely done.
Yeah, and Warner Brothers wanted a different ending. They wanted a more conclusive ending.
Like
Bob Clark stuck to his guns.
Yeah, huh.
There was supposedly going to be an ending where Jess is hanging out with Claire's boyfriend, who was... Chris.
Yeah.
Right. And they were hanging out together. Somehow they hooked up, maybe consoling each other.
Yeah.
And they were laying in bed together. And Chris turns to her and says, Agnes, don't tell them what we did. In the Billy voice. And then, close up freeze frame shot of her like in shock or whatever.
What do you think of that?
I think that would have been
That's
stupid.
dumb.
I would not have liked that ending.
Yeah,
that would have ruined the entire
stupid.
movie for me.
That would have been fucked up.
He thought about different endings too, but he said at the end, when everything was said and done, that was the best ending for this film.
No, I agree. Porky's. He did Porky's.
That's right.
Yes,
How the fuck can we forget that?
Yeah. And which also launched a whole genre of teenage sex comedies, right?
Teenage sex comedies.
Yeah, he had it wrapped up.
His resume's all over the place.
It is, yeah.
I mean, like I said, I think he did only 3 horror films.
Okay.
I think it's only 3.
This is the third one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Then
Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things, then Death Dream, Dead of Night, and then Black Christmas. Or Silent Night, Evil Night, which is a terrible title.
It's a bad title, yeah.
And when it was going to air on television, it was going to be called Stranger in the House.
What is it with it?
I know, yeah. It was going to be called Stranger in the House. They didn't want to call it Black Christmas.
Uh-huh. Just because it's just too,
right. And it didn't premiere when it was supposed to.
Yeah.
Because of the Ted Bundy murders. It was around that same time.
That was around the same time?
Around the same time when it was going to air on television. January of 78, it was supposed to air on television.
That's 4 years later.
Yeah.
Oh, that was the Ted Bundy period?
Around there, yep.
Okay, wow.
2 months earlier that the Bundy murders had occurred, around there, where he killed those 4 sorority girls.
Oh, right, the sorority girls. Yeah, it was a little bit too close to home.
Yeah, the Chi Omega sorority.
Gotcha.
Florida State University.
Yeah, okay.
Killed 4 young women in their sleep.
Damn.
Bludgeoned to death. So you can see why the network would be like, you know what, I don't think we can show this one yet.
Yeah.
So it was a while before it aired on television.
It was a little too real.
And I've never seen it air on television in many, many years. And I couldn't find it on DVD for a long time.
Have you ever seen it air on television?
Oh, the last time I can't even tell you when it was.
This never came up on my radar screen on television.
Really?
I had to get on DVD.
I can't. Yeah. And like I said, it was out of print for a while.
Yeah. Huh.
I had a beat up VHS copy for a long time. That's why I kept my VCR out for certain movies like that.
I wonder why it was just sort of forgotten like that.
Yeah, it was kind of forgotten. Kind of a forgotten gem for a bit. Huge cult status.
Yeah.
Everybody would talk about, have you seen Black Christmas?
Yeah, like hardcore horror fans.
Yeah.
They know this movie.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like if you talk about Halloween, you're going to say, well, see Black Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember years ago a friend said, have you ever seen Black Christmas? I was like, yeah, you can't find it anywhere though.
Yeah, wow.
And she said, I have a copy. And I said, holy crap, we have to see that right
Holy
now.
Grail. Wow,
you know? So it was tough to find for a little bit. Now they have different editions, Blu-ray, I believe the 40th anniversary, because we're up to 45 years ago, something like that now.
Shit, yeah, we are up to that, yeah.
God damn.
Yeah.
The 40th anniversary, they have some great little commentary tracks. And I read that Albert Dunk does Billy's voice in the commentary.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to seek that out just to hear that. Anybody out there who's heard this, please let us know.
He's going to do the whole commentary like that?
I hope so. I want to hear that shit. This is where we filmed this scene. Agnes is Billy.
Okay, cool.
Right, the other one. What your mother and I must know.
Yeah. Which almost kind of sounds like the Exorcist voice.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. You don't know what she did.
Right. Your cunting daughter. This podcast is going to be rated X in a minute.
Oh, yeah. Good thing it is. Explicit tag on everywhere, yeah. Have you wrapped this one up?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay, cool. So, should we do a coin toss for the next Terrasonic movie? Is that the thing we're going to do? All right, we have the coin out. Is it an evil coin?
It's a dark black evil coin.
Okay, good. Perfect.
Stained with blood.
Okay.
You're ready?
Toss. Heads.
Tails.
Okay, it's yours.
Oh my God, I did not prepare.
As usual.
You know what? Let's go for a big one.
Okay.
Let's do The Exorcist.
Okay.
Since we mentioned
it just mentioned
now.
it. We just mentioned it. It's
and
out
it's one
there.
of my favorite horror movies.
It better be everybody's almost favorite horror movie. Yeah.
It's got to be up there.
Let's do it. Yeah, it's up
there.
there.
Well, there's the big controversy. Some people go Shining, some people go Exorcist.
We're going to touch on both of them, so we'll do The Exorcist first. Sounds
Excellent.
good. Yeah, awesome.
All right.
Okay, people, we are Useless Info Inc., bringing you Terrasonic, and we are on WordPress, we're on YouTube, we're on Google Play, we're on iTunes, we're on Podmatic, and we're on Twitter, of course, yes, and we're on Facebook.
Yep.
We're all over the place.
No reason not to try and check us out, one way or the other.
So we hope you had a good holiday, black or evil or whatever. Or
hope you had a good Black Christmas.
Yes, exactly.
Or a Silent Night, Evil Night.
Exactly, yes.
All right, everybody, I'm Walt.
I am Max.
Check you out next time. Stay scared.
Bye.
Ha ha ha!